Hey Tori, it's Dr. Scott. I have some feedback for you on your Essay 2 draft. Just as a quick reminder, for this assignment I'm taking a look at your thesis statement. Is it debatable? Is it specific, focused? Is it interesting? Two, I'm taking a look at your ability to use details from the murals to support your point. And that means including good details, but then also explaining those details and giving us some explanation of why those details do help support that thesis statement. Three, I'm taking a look at organization, so how you've organized ideas, kept similar ideas together, but also how you have moved between ideas. So, like, do you have a reason why you go from one idea to another? And transitions helps with that, but transitions also help just kind of even between ideas within your paragraph from like sentence to sentence sometimes. Finally, I'm taking a look at your ability to integrate sources, to integrate them, not just to use them. So what I did here is I tried opening up the document that you uploaded on Blackboard, and I could not open it with my work computer or my home computer. I don't know, something's up with the file. It crashes my computer a little bit. But I am able to open it up just through Blackboard. Like I won't be able to download this, but there's this function in Blackboard where it will show your document, and I can comment directly on it in Blackboard. So what I have is like a bunch of notes to myself, things to explain to you. So that's what's going on here with this document. So the first comment, and I'll just kind of go through and explain these comments, is about a need for transitioning. So you have these murals changed the town in better ways. The Portsmouth, Ohio Murals website confirmed that. And then we get like 4 or 5 lines of a quote. And there's not enough glue between what you're saying here and the upcoming quote. So there needs to be at least a sentence, maybe even 2, that takes us from, hey, the murals did a lot of good for this town, to the purpose of the project. Right now it felt like it kind of came out of nowhere. And then it goes on for quite a bit. I don't know if you need all that, but that's your call. My issue is, do you give us enough transitioning? Do you explain where the source came from? Like, I don't know if I'm going to trust a source named Dogbird, but maybe it comes from a more credible source that you could refer to. So you're setting up the source, you're explaining how it relates to what it is you've already said, you're telling us a little bit about the credibility of the source, and then afterwards you're discussing the source, so that quote sandwich idea that I've talked about in class. I'm not seeing the top or the bottom part all that much. So setting it up, but then discussing it afterwards. Okay, that's annoying. So you mentioned there's 2, I think, misunderstandings here about the murals. One, Branch Rickey didn't just have something to do about the racial tension in Portsmouth. Like, he grew up in the area, and that's why he was included on the mural. But he, once he was an adult, especially in his later years, I think he was more affiliated with, like, New York. So he really wasn't, like, trying to fix racial issues in Portsmouth necessarily. But as you accurately reflect later on, he did have quite a bit to do with racial issues in the United States as a whole, and he was instrumental in getting Jackie Robinson signed to a major league team, which was a huge deal. So he's not really doing anything with racial tension in Portsmouth. So that's something to think about. The other issue that I think needs to be clarified is, like, later on you discuss the fact that Jackie Robinson wasn't included on the murals as a player. And the thing to keep in mind there is that the murals are just kind of reflecting, especially the baseball murals, they're including people that are from this area. And Jackie Robinson is not from Southern Ohio. So just some accuracy stuff that needs to get kind of cleaned up there. I did want to say just how much I love that argument that you have, that they could have done a better job of conveying, like, what is the bigger issue, and that's Branch Rickey's role in racial issues in the United States. Like, he played baseball, wonderful, but that's not really what he should be known for. It should be this work that he did in making our society a little bit more equitable for everybody. I love that argument. I think it's really smart and interesting. There's some work that's needed to do to carry it out throughout the essay, so let's go to a few places. So you have you do a really solid job in this first body paragraph of explaining all the other details that are there, and you work us towards, hey, but Jackie Robinson is only a small part. One thing that I think you could do to improve this a little bit is to remind us throughout this section, like we have to go and read and read and read and read to get to the point, which is this down here. The one small selection of Jackie Robinson. So I think the way that you do that is like you say this part and this part right here have kind of like equal weight. Like this is pretty significant, this is pretty significant, and that's pretty significant. So like when you're describing this part, you can say like it takes up almost like the right third of the mural, and it's like equally weighted with the middle and that left third with Jackie Robinson, which kind of visually speaking means that this has equal weight as that and as that. But what you're saying is that, like, given the importance of this, it should really be here and it should be bigger. And I think that that's an interesting argument. And you can remind us as you're describing this or these details up here that they're taking up a lot of visual space that should be given to the Jackie Robinson event. Let me know if that does not make sense. I thought it made sense to me, but it may not. So yeah, solid job with details here. Where the essay kind of falls flat for me is after that part. So it feels like if this is, you just ran out of steam or ran out of time. If you ran out of steam and you're not sure where to go, you need to come speak with me. If you just ran out of time and you know where you're going to go, that's a whole different thing. But I had a hard time understanding how the end of this paragraph, how it related to the overall thesis statement, like how the layout of the baseball mural, how did that really have anything to do with that thesis statement that you have? All right. And it seemed like that was kind of the issue here, like the positioning of people. I think I'm trying to like there wasn't as solid a job as in that first body paragraph. And it's like when we're talking about the baseball mural, like I'm not sure how this positioning, how that really kind of relates, and how like ranking them by order, oldest to most recent, what that has to do with your overall argument about it's really about race, which is interesting and it's pretty awesome. But here it kind of like we've kind of lost that emphasis, and it feels like we're in kind of a different paper. And I mentioned the thing about Jackie Robinson, and I think that's just kind of a misunderstanding there. So that's kind of where the essay is at this point. If the issue is you ran out of steam and you're not sure where to go, we need to talk. If you do kind of know where you're going, and just kind of ran out of time, or you just weren't sure how to, like you just haven't fully explained yourself here, that's a totally different issue. But I'd say either way, reach out to me and ask me some questions after you get this feedback. I think I think that this can be a really awesome paper, and I'm just kind of interested to see where it goes, and looking forward to reading it. So that's it for now. Your revision's due Monday the 12th. If you need a little extra time, I can work with you on that. But again, I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes, and don't be shy about letting me know if you need some help or if you have some questions. All right, that's it.